season. Survivor Specialist Phil and Alexa are back, and we're excited because there's only one episode left. But Kellen went home tonight. We've lost our Kellen, our fake Kellen, or whatever you want to call her.
Our real Kellen, our fake Kellen, all of the Kellens.
I'm going to be honest. All these people making fake Kellen videos, I'm pretty sure fake Kellen is what we saw for the first 12 episodes of this season, because tonight she was suddenly a huge threat to win the game, and that's why they wanted to get rid of her. And she gets like an heroic send-off. And all of a sudden she's like subdued in her boot episode. After all season, we thought she was like this like person who can only say the same thing over and over again and is whiny and like annoying. And then she comes out in this and is subdued and like playing a legit game, has a really great like speech at the end here about how it was truly a pleasure. Everybody seems like really upset that they had to vote Kellen out.
Dominic stood up and clapped her out. Like,
where was this?
Sandra's gotten that.
Like, where was this all season? I'm so confused. Like, I mean, we've complained about other things like invisible edits and stuff, but this Kellen edit is confusing to me because this fake Kellen thing in real life has blown up because they all like Kellen. Like, you're not going to do like a fake Angela if like everybody doesn't like Angela. I don't know if they don't like Angela. I'm just using that as an example.
There's
like,
not going to be. Well, I was going to say there's not going to be a fake Russell, but like there could be. I'm trying to think of someone that like the whole cast universally hates. That like they wouldn't do that. They're doing it because they love her.
Yes, like they are doing this, like Brendan's like whole fake Kellen thing where he's flopping his arms around and stuff. Like that is him. Like he likes Kellen. He's doing that as like a joke. Like they all like Kellen as a person. And tonight we saw that they like Kellen. So what I'm so confused at is like why tonight was really the only time that we saw them liking Kellen. Like everything up till this, we just saw her as like obnoxious. And then tonight she wasn't obnoxious. And instead she's a threat to win the game. But there was like no transition here. It doesn't seem like she changed at all. It doesn't seem like anybody asked her to undergo some change. I mean, I know the Michael thing is what the Michael thing is, but up until that point, like we were still seeing her as like this one-dimensional, like nutty character. And I don't know. I'm really confused on why we didn't see the Kellen that we saw tonight, or at least the way everybody thinks about the Kellen that we saw tonight.
Yeah, and Phil and I, before we went live, we said that we will not make this an hour of complaining about the edit, but we may make this an hour about complaining about Kellen's edit.
Yeah.
Because I echo the exact same sentiments. We have been told for the past 2 months, we have not deduced this ourselves. We have been told that Kellen is annoying, closed-minded, #Navidi strong, obnoxious, but she has this teary, incredible send-off. She's a threat to win the game, which I had figured out from everyone's exit interview saying how much they like her. But why were we told to hate her and think she's so obnoxious to the point where Dalton Ross did this fake Kellen thing, presumably to make people like her more, and then she gets this heroic send-off? It makes no sense. And this ties back to everyone's major complaint that it's so obvious that Dom or Wendell will win. Well, if we were shown this more realistic side of Kellen, maybe there would have been a little bit more suspense going into this finale.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I mean, I think the biggest problem here is, like you said, Dalton Ross is doing this thing so that people will like. What is happening in your apartment?
What's up?
It just got like echoey. It sounded like there was an earthquake.
Oh, I just picked up my water bottle, which happens to be near the microphone, so I'm gonna.
Oh my god, that was terrifying.
Was it really? Sorry.
Yeah, but you said it. You said this whole thing is like
Dalton Ross being like, everyone, please chill.
Be nicer, and like this is why I always hate this is why we don't rip on people personally, is because it's all so heavily edited. Like,
and we don't know them.
You don't know them. And like, so you rip on Kellen as like this person who you saw for 12 episodes. And then you realize in the 13th episode that everybody actually liked her. And that like, you're the people who are kind of like idiots. Like the people who were like saying, I hate Kellen. She's so obnoxious. It's like, man, whoever edited those episodes did a really good job making you believe that, because they voted her out tonight over Donathan because they thought they could lose to Kellen. They didn't think they could lose to Donathan. And
that set up for an excellent transition, because if we're going to talk about people who have been getting cyberbullied, let's talk about Donathan in the past. I know you're 11 minutes out of this episode. I'm 3 hours and 11 minutes out of this episode. Donathan is getting crushed, and we'll talk about his gameplay, but I'm just going to put this out there. How can people possibly complain that Donathan is obnoxious and stupid when he is the only person trying to change anything. It's bananas to me. Everyone is so bored with this season, and God forbid Jonathan tries to change it up. I liked this episode. I thought this was a fantastic episode. And Jonathan swung for the fences because he doesn't want to get in fourth place. And maybe it was misguided and maybe it was wrong, but at least it was entertaining.
See, and I haven't like read anything yet because I literally just finished something. You sent me the link at 8:57 my time because it's like
I'm very tired.
I'm ready to go. Let's get this over. So I don't have time to read anything. But I'll say that like people, that's one of the biggest complaints from like survivors and from us is when you're on the bottom, you don't try to make the move. And instead you just sit on the bottom and you're like, oh well, I'll get to the end. I'll get to the end. Tonight, Jonathan like tried to make a stand, and whether he did it the right way or not, he still tried to make some sort of stand. I mean, if people are pulling out idols, or if I'm thinking they're pulling out idols around me and I'm already nervous that they're going to send me home because they took Laurel on this trip instead of me, like I'm going to throw a little bit of a fit too.
Yeah, that was super sketchy. And really, we're just going to let Dom and Wendell talk about how he was giving him something. Like, come on.
It was a necklace that he wanted. Yeah, on a immunity necklace.
Like your shell necklace.
It wasn't an immunity necklace. Like, are you kidding?
Of course. That is like a very sketchy thing to do. And if I were Jonathan, I would probably react similarly in the sense of, oh wait, these two people who are apparently my allies are exchanging sketchy side eyes and giving them things in bags. Like that is sketchy in front of Jonathan.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And they got caught red-handed. Like, you can't give Jonathan a hard time for this. Wendell and Dom got caught. They got lazy with it, and they got caught. And they're going to try to make this sound like Jonathan is like the bad guy in this situation. And hey, we don't know everything that's going on with Jonathan. Maybe Jonathan is rubbing them the wrong way a lot more than we're being led to believe, because everybody is now talking about how at the last second he tries to pull the pin on the grenade and blow it up and see what happens. He seems like he does it every week. So maybe that is a trend that is really happening here. But
yeah, he did say that about his truth bombs. He was like, these seem to be working.
Yeah, so he's trying to do that. But at the same time, if they're doing this right in front of you and you already know they're the two most powerful people in the game, you know they have idols, of course you're going to be terrified in that moment. Like, you know that you are on the chopping block. You don't know if you're actually necessary right now. Because Dom and Wendell can easily go with Sebastian. They can go with Laurel. They don't need you, and they really don't need Angela, and they don't need Kellen. So I don't blame him for being worried.
I don't blame him either. I mean, he was trying, and they picked Laurel, and I know like Wendell and Laurel are obviously super, super tight. And Wendell gave a good explanation for wanting to bring Laurel. He said, like she's been feeling a little sketched out. I wanted to bring her along. And in a group of four, that's going to happen. Jonathan's going to get left out, but he's trying. And I really like Laurel, but tonight was another episode of, yeah, I don't think I can beat them. But, I kind of sketchily beat Wendell at the immunity challenge, so it wouldn't be right for me to get rid of him. And I heard that, and I was like, dude, I don't know. I can't really get behind that.
And we'll talk about this like a lot on our predictions episode, because we'll have a big predictions episode this week where we break down all of the scenarios. But who is she thinking she has the votes of on that jury?
Well, she did say in the reward.
This is interesting. Yeah,
it is odd. She did say on the reward, I want to go to the end with the two of you, and I really can't tell if that's true or not, because she said in a confessional immediately after, I'm ready to slit their throats, but I haven't really been
clearly she's not.
But she said, I want to go with you two. It was a quick sentence. It was like, because I'll be the split vote, or
no, because they're gonna
split.
It was because she thinks that the jury is going to split the votes between Dominic and Wendell. And then she'll pick up the scraps, and it'll be enough to win it. But what I'm curious is, who is she expecting herself to get? Like, what scraps is she going to get? Is she thinking Chris? Because Chris is going to go Wendell. Is she thinking maybe Donathan? Is she thinking that she can get all the Malolos in Michael, Donathan, and Jenna? Like, and Libby maybe? And there's the four. That's all she needed. Like, is that what she's thinking? Because I don't see that happening.
I think that is what she's thinking. Because I think, who was it who told us? I forget which guest on our predictions. It might have been Vaughn who said this, actually. There, when you have whoever was referenced the China Final Tribal Council, you want your outlier. Like, there's, let's pretend Token Cheese was the final three. It's like JT, Steven, and Aaron. Like, always have a rando, because the rando will get those scraps. But the problem is, Dom and Wendell just played such a dominant game that I think they're going to laugh at Laurel.
I almost feel like we're going to have the wool pulled over our eyes and one of them actually isn't going to win at this point. Like, I would not be surprised if Laurel actually does win and that was like a foreshadow and we're all just like, what? How did that happen? And then you have to go back and rewatch the season like 10 times to figure out how Laurel actually navigated her way to a win. But there could be a serious case of like jealousy from this jury where Wendell and Dominic have been running the game the entire time. And maybe that makes the jury sit there and go, well, I don't want to give them the money. Like, yeah, they've been running it, but how do I decide between them which is the better one? They had to do it together. Laurel's like, I don't know, maybe Laurel had to overcome more. I don't know how you pitch it. I have no idea.
How does she sell it? Like, what's her sales pitch at the Final Tribal Council?
I really have no idea. I really don't know because what has she done?
We'll talk about that. Yeah, let's save that.
We'll talk about that on Sunday. But it's crazy because like when she said it wouldn't be the right thing to do because she wasn't even sure she actually beat Wendell. It's like bullshit. Like you vote him out as soon as you get the chance. Like I'm sorry, but that's what you have to do. And I'm also sorry for anybody who has virgin ears and doesn't like my cursing. But we seriously,
have never cursed on this podcast.
Never, not once. But seriously, I'm like if he's gonna beat you for $1 million, you have to say to yourself, you know what? I do need to get rid of Wendell tonight. And maybe Laurel is still banking on it's not the right thing to do because maybe she really thought she would lose to Kellen and had no shot at beating Kellen at all at the final three. I mean, after what I saw tonight, it's almost like that could have been a real possibility the way people were talking about Kellen. But if that's the case, then I sit here and I go, okay, well, Laurel doesn't want to make this move on Wendell right now. But to say like,
dumb.
Yeah, exactly.
That was my thought.
And to say it wouldn't be fair, like, what do you mean it wouldn't be fair? Survivor's not fair. Like, Brendan got voted out 4th. Like, Morgan went home 3rd, really, for, like, not much of a reason. Like, Survivor isn't fair. Like, that's this game. So, I don't know.
I was just thinking about Morgan and how cool she would have been in this merge. She's one who I'm, like, really sad is not in this.
Yeah, and, like, hey, I'm not, like, hitting Laurel too hard because I honestly think maybe she doesn't think she can beat Kellen. Maybe she's thinking, hey, if I sit here with Wendell and Dominic, they're going to split the votes, and the people who didn't like them at all have to vote for me. They don't have a choice but to vote for me.
Yeah, and I think to defend Laurel, because Laurel has been getting a lot of shit. She's also, excuse me, sorry for those.
Wow, we can't help ourselves.
We are energized. Laurel's been getting a lot of flack for the past few weeks. On top of that, she has instantaneously become a meme with this whole thing that the kids are doing with that sound thing that's saying Laurel or Yanni, which that will be the only mention of that on this podcast because I will not talk about such a low-hanging fruit meme like that. But to defend her, everyone's saying she's playing losing games, she's playing a Final Tribal Council loser game. One, at least she's getting there. I'm just going to put that out there. And two, she may not see that. Like, these editors have played with their hearts plenty this season, and I think a lot of us are forgetting that everyone in this game is in a completely different reality from what we are watching 1 year after the fact. So Laurel could be saying exactly what you just said, Phil. Everyone's so pissed off at these two, so why wouldn't they vote for me? I have the Malolo underdog story. I made it here despite the two of them. You know, I guess what I'm saying is that it may not be as obvious that Dom and Wendell are leading the show to the rest of the tribe as it is to us. And I think, sorry, go ahead.
All I was going to say is I think what it comes down to with this is if she sits between Laurel and Dom, or Wendell and Dom, and people say, I don't want to give either of them the money, they have to vote for Laurel. If she sits between Wendell and Kellen or Dominic and Kellen, and people might not have liked Dominic or might not like Wendell, then they could throw their vote at Kellen and say Kellen had to do more to get there. And then Laurel gets no votes. Right now, she's kind of sitting there saying it's actually one-on-one. But you guys are splitting those votes together here. Like, it's almost like if you're like an Oscar nominee for like a supporting actor role and 2 people get nominated from your movie, it's harder to win in that situation because people might give it to each person. They might give votes to each person. All of a sudden, the person that might have been the 3rd best performance of the year suddenly wins because everybody who liked that movie the most is voting for that person.
Wow, that's a really good analogy.
I like the Oscars.
Yeah, that's good. But I get one thing, like, just to finish up my argument, which will then tie into our next conversation. A lot of great segues tonight. Wendell himself said, I am not in the right mental state. I'm not in the same mental state that I was on day 1, that I am on day 35. And this is the point in the game where people are not thinking clearly. They can't even run up a set of stairs without getting completely winded. There is no food in their bellies. There's no oxygen going to their brain. They have no idea what they're even saying. And so this is the part where like the game gets really sketchy. And this is also what happened with Wendell tonight. Do you want to talk about this immunity challenge? Because I thought this was fascinating. We've never seen this before.
Have we ever seen Jeff Probst stumble over his words like we saw Jeff Probst stumble over his words tonight?
Yeah, I'm just saying Jeff is so lucky that Laurel and Wendell are allies, because if they were not and they started going at each other, I don't think Jeff had an answer.
I don't think he had an answer. And I know that I remember back when Abby Maria had less knots, which I told Abby Maria to her face, and she called me curse names. But when she had less knots than Jonathan Penner back in Philippines, you remember this? You know this challenge?
Not really. Could you describe it to me?
There's a challenge in Philippines where she got to advance to the final round, and she didn't actually have less knots, but everybody thought she had less knots. She had to untie all these things. It was like the lamest immunity challenge ever, and she beat Penner. And when you looked at hers, it looked like she had less knots. Well, Dalton Ross came out and he said there is somebody who's like for like the fair practices. I don't know what it actually is, but there's like a person who makes sure everybody has it fair out there. So in this situation, I don't actually know how they would deal with it, because that person is there. There is a person there who is making sure that everybody understands the rules, everybody knows what's fair. And I honestly think Jeff like stumbled, because I don't know if they might tell everybody this every season. I'm sure as hell they will now. But I'm not sure if they say before every challenge, call my name when you're done.
I don't think they tell him.
Because if he just says first one to finish wins immunity, now all of a sudden you have a different situation on your hands, because maybe that means that he's not having to scream out, Jeff, I'm done. He's just done. And if they maybe go back to a tape or something, Wendell might have won that challenge. And I'll be completely honest, Wendell won the challenge, because I sat there and went, why is he not saying anything? Wendell, speak, say something. And he didn't. And then Laurel said it. And I was like, we're going to have a problem here. But Jeff is lucky they were allies, because even the way Jeff said it, Wendell, you do understand why, right? Like you do get why, right? Like,
yeah, Jeff was like, can you please be cool?
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was really crazy. And I mean, I don't think anyone is denying that Wendell got it first. I think even Laurel like kind of half admitted it. But if there was so much tension in that, and it was great because Wendell was like, dude, I did it. And Laurel like correctly defended herself. She was like, well, I'm the one who actually said it. And Jeff was like, okay, no one's about to blow up. Okay, great. This is Laurel's. Wendell, thank you for being such a good sport. Good thing you have an idol. Good thing she's your ally. Everyone just go home. But yeah, that was a tough one. We've definitely never seen anything like it before. And I didn't know about that like quality control person, but you are right, because this was especially one of those challenges where Jeff was just ripping on everybody. He was like, Angela sucks, Sebastian sucks, Dominic sucks, everybody sucks. And Jeff can't do that if his job is to just scan because people don't call his name. Exactly. So I guess everyone's calling it an unwritten rule, and this is where things get really murky, because in these challenges there kind of can't be unwritten rules because of the like there's so much fairness to it, like you just said.
And I'm curious if other survivors will come out and say that, you know, either the production tells them they have to say it or doesn't say they have to say it, because it is like a sketchy situation. I mean,
that's a tough one.
We really don't know. I mean, I don't know. We obviously don't see everything. And I believe that in this situation, if they had the footage of Jeff saying you have to call out my name, they would have shown that footage, because that would have led to Wendell not calling out the name. Now, I think why it doesn't become an issue is because when people win immunity, they're so stoked. They're like, Jeff, I'm done. Jeff, I got it. Like, get over here and look at me. And I think Wendell, like Jeff kept saying, was in such a zone tonight that he was just like, I got it. But like, I almost want to say Wendell had like too much swag tonight. Like he had like,
yeah, he was like kind of.
He was playing it so cool the entire episode. He's telling Sebastian how to start the puzzle and all this stuff. And I think it actually caught up to him, like, because he just forgot, like, oh, crap, I'm actually supposed to be excited. I just want immunity.
I think the best tweet I saw was from a former survivor, Stephen Fishback. He tweeted pretty much right after it happened. And he said, like, PSA, if you're ever in this situation, call for Jeff a little bit before you're done, which is a great point, because there's no penalty to you doing that. It makes everybody stop because everyone's staring at you, and that kind of would have resolved the problem. But again, this is another one of those moments where how could Wendell like be thinking because he's just a hot mess.
Yeah, no, and I think that's a great point by Stephen Fishback. I forget who was like the king of that. There was somebody who was so good at that. They would call Jeff over and they would still be like moving stuff. I forget who it was, but I remember seeing that like a lot from somebody. I just want to go here. Jar Jar Mink said, pretty shitty of Wendell to say I 100% finished before Laurel. How do you know? You were looking at your puzzle and you never turned your head. You didn't even know to ask Jeff to check. We don't even really know. It's all just editing. To which, sorry, Alex, I had to like shush you there because
I was about to say I didn't like being shushed.
Oh, that's my bad. This is the biggest. This is like the biggest.
Everybody.
The biggest moment in like Survivor Specialist history. So I shushed Alexa. Everybody yell at me. I also clapped at Bradley earlier this week, so I'm getting everything in. Michelle Fitzgerald tweeted at us and Jar Jar Minks.
Nobody added her.
Nobody added Michelle Fitzgerald. She found us and she said, well, he would 100% know because with like 30 E's, he was looking at his puzzle, which he finished before she called it. So if anyone 100% knows, it would be him, edit or not.
I saw that and immediately paid.
Like, there you go. See, so like that just gets you like, I that was so exciting for me. I had to shush Alexa so everybody knows.
That was
Alexa,
that was absolutely incredible.
I get one free pass.
Like I feel like Michelle is very passionate about this topic because she has been tweeting up a storm tonight, more so than usual. So the more logical side of me is probably thinking that she's just looking through random Twitter feeds, like picking fights about this. But the more realistic and self-centered side of me thinks that she loves us, follows us, but tries to like keep it a little close to the vest and is slowly creeping towards wanting to hang out with us.
Slowly but surely creeping towards.
Playing with our hearts.
Yeah, obviously. But the real answer is she just saw this and it probably pissed her off. But
that doesn't mean we're not going to retweet it.
Thank you, Jar Jar Minks.
Jar Jar Minks, so much.
Thank you for you're the sacrifice the island needed. We appreciate it.
Please keep hitting us with your fire takes.
There you go. Exactly. As long as it gets Michelle all stirred up, let's get it going. But yeah, so I think I'm curious if this has happened in the past. And I'm curious, like, because if Wendell does put up a fight, do they give it to him? I mean, they'd have to go back. They definitely have. I mean, they have so many cameras out there. I mean, it's crazy when you see like the behind the scenes things. I mean, there's cameras all over the place. I mean, talking about Michelle, go back to Ko-Rong when Caleb goes down. I mean, all the camera people who are out there who are running towards Caleb, you really see what a mess it is behind the scenes. So you would think they definitely have a camera on every single person's thing, and it's all probably synced up. They could definitely check to see what time it was because Wendell won this challenge. Now, I don't know how much of a fight he really put up. I know Laurel's like his girl, so he doesn't want to like probably instigate that too much. He's really like fighting to keep Laurel on his side, but that was crazy.
So I'm trying to just visualize this argument. I don't think he fought it that much. I think he wanted it to be known that he won and then moved on, which to be fair, I would have done too. Like he did win that challenge and he very rightfully deserved that. But oh my God, I lost my train of thought. Why did you chat me? Oh crap, I had such a good point. Here we go. So here we go. So Cambodia Final Four. Kelly Wentworth loses. Who I don't even know who she lost to. But the point I'm trying to make is you have a Final Four situation and you have like a fan favorite, huge comeback, big time player like her. And let's say she wins that immunity challenge, but the exact same situation happens and like it's Jeremy or Spencer who actually calls it out first. She's going to make a whole stink about it. What's the play there? I feel like Jeff has to give it to the person who called him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they do, and this kind of comes back to what was it? If you go back to Africa, when Big Tom and Lex like totally got cheated, they totally got cheated. And like I know, like I'm pretty sure, like you can look this up, but I'm pretty sure they got settled as second place money, but they got cheated. They both had the answer correct, or one of them had the answer correct. And production just didn't know about the answer. They didn't know that was actually right. So they did it behind the scenes. Now, granted, that was a situation where Lex and Big Tom didn't make a big stink out of it because I don't think they knew. I don't think they actually realized that they were right. Yeah. You know, so in this situation, though, I mean, if this was Final Four, you got a bigger stink. I mean, imagine this is Adam Klein, seriously. And everybody knows we love Adam. I mean, Adam, I think is like the man, but if this is Adam and he loses the Final Four challenge to David Wright and he was done and Adam and David calls it, Adam is going to flip his lid at that. Like, he's going to lose his mind until he gets what he believes to be fair. Now, granted, Adam is big enough of a fan where he's going to scream at the top of his lungs. But I'm just saying, like, there's a different situation where this could have went really bad. I think Wendell is sitting there saying to himself, I have an idol. Let me play this cool. If Laurel ends up on the jury, she better as hell remember that I gave her immunity once. Yeah. And just, like, take it easy. I mean, Laurel did come over, give him a hug, say, I appreciate it. And keep playing the cool, calm, and collected guy, because at the end of the day, that might be all you need to actually win the game.
Yeah, I was actually about to say, like, I'm putting myself in that situation. I know my personality. I would have flipped the lid, but you bring up a good point. That at what point does it become a sore winner, sore loser, whatever you want to call it, kind of thing? Because at the end, you don't want to draw attention to yourself, no matter how many idols you have, no matter who you're allied with, no matter how much you deserve it. That might not be worth it, because I think that Jeff, one, didn't really know what to do. So again, this worked out for him, but I think this sets a precedent moving forward where they will need to call it out for him, or there will need to be some kind of clearance with what goes on here. So I think Wendell did, like, the very, very smart thing by just putting it on the table and then walking away.
Yeah, you had to do it. I mean, and it's final 7. It's not do or die yet. I mean, if you get down to Final 4, who cares if you're being a sore loser? Right now, you're sitting and you're fighting for a spot to just sit in the Final 3, and you can say to everybody, I won it fair and square. I'm sorry that I had to throw a fit, but I won that challenge. Yeah, I mean, this is Final 7. Wendell's still in the dominant position. He has an idol in his pocket. His closest ally has an idol in his pocket, and he's giving immunity to his second closest ally. Now he's got to be sitting there saying his 2 closest allies and himself are all safe tonight. Just find that 4th vote. And I keep saying this, Wendell is so confident in his relationships on this season. Like, rightfully it showed again tonight. Yeah, he's so confident in his relationships. He really is.
Yeah. And confident is the right word, because it's working for him. Like, his relationship with Laurel is fantastic. His relationship with Dominic is fantastic. And I've kind of been waiting for him and Dominic to decide that they need to get rid of the other, but Wendell was speaking in we tonight. He was saying so many we's, and I think they both think they can beat each other. And for as frustrated I've been with this season, I think I can now turn my enjoyment to, we have these really awesome Titans who are about to go at it, and they're 2 great players who I think would both be incredible winners. So I want to see them go at it.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm down right now going into the Final 6, because we saw a little bit more of Sebastian tonight, and because I know Sebastian's role. I know he's not going to win. He's not going to sit in the Final 3. I'm pretty sure one of the big 4, all 3 of the big 4 are sitting in the Final 3. I don't think we're getting Angela, and I don't think we're getting Sebastian. One of them might finish 4th place, but I don't think we're getting either of them actually into the Final 3, especially after Angela was really not a part of tonight. But, like, I'm okay with how this is shaping up right now, because you have your 2 Titans, as you called them. You have your 2 middle people, one of which is definitely leaning away from the group and one that is leaning into the group. And then you have your 2, like, kind of followers. And I really wish for the amount of time that we see on the same repeated lines over and over and over again, they just took an extra 30 seconds to actually show us the schoolyard pick, because I wanted to see Angela's reaction. I don't know who Angela votes for at Final Tribal Council, because I don't know how Angela actually felt about this. I mean, look at her reaction tonight when Donathan says to Dominic, no, you can't say anything else. Angela jumps out of her shoes. Like, you know, she had to have had a reaction when she found out she wasn't getting picked. I wanted to know the order people were picked in. I'm assuming Dom and Wendell had to have been the first, like, whoever picked in that group had to have been the first pick. And I'm sure Donathan was going to pick Laurel no matter what. But why does Kellen pick Sebastian? Is it strictly to win? Or is she picking Sebastian because she likes Sebastian more? Like, these are questions that I have, and we've seen a lot of pick'ems this year. So why not actually show the pick'ems instead of just look at Angela sitting on the bench, kicking rocks? Like, who cares?
Yeah. And, like, you see those 3 breakouts, and you're like, huh, that's a shocker.
I know.
Yeah. But why don't we talk about the challenge? I thought the challenge was pretty
amazing. Amazing challenge.
That was fantastic. And the challenges this season have been fairly lackluster. But this one was really, really good. This was endurance. This was teamwork. This was strategy. This was patience. Very well done.
No, I love this challenge. It reminds me of It's the one
It
where you put
looked
the ball.
horrible.
Yeah, you put the ball into the slot and then you have to catch the ball at the end, and you keep doing that. But this is with two people and they're running up and down the stairs and it's exhausting. But I liked it because as you're adding it, it's like, oh man, like now we're watching this, we're seeing this. I hope this becomes like a staple. Like I hope this becomes one that we always see as a reward, or hell, I'll even take it as an immunity challenge. Like if you want to do it individually and make people just run up and run down and maybe do it a little bit slower. You just have one now you have two. I like it. It's big. It's fun to watch. And like when you're watching Sebastian still standing at the top of the stairs and you're seeing that thing already in the third row, you're like, Sebastian ain't getting there. Like it's a fun challenge. I thought it was probably the best one of the season.
Yeah. And like you said, it's very aesthetically pleasing. Like it fits the camera very well because it's so big. So I think that really helps too. I hope it'll replace, well, this one's long gone, but I was always a fan of, it was probably a reward challenge back during like the tribal breakout. It's when there's that big like track and there's the two tribes carrying bags and they have to chase each other in a circle, and whoever touches
that was an amazing challenge.
I was always a big fan of that, and I hate that they took it away, but this is like gives me that similar satisfaction that one did. Like it's coming and you have to speed up and you're so tired, but you have to keep going.
Yeah. And that challenge is like one of the all-time greats.
I know, that's a great one. Why did they get rid of that one?
I think because it was literally killing the survivors. Like that
that was a bad one.
That was ankle deep water. You're running in ankle deep water with like 40-pound bags on your back.
I feel like it was knee deep water.
It might have been knee deep. Either way, it sucked. Like that challenge was brutal. The one in Palau was so epic. I mean, that was just fantastic. When it was just like, I think it was just Ian and Tom just like chasing after Oolong,
carrying like
everything, carrying 3 Karens on their back.
3 Karens.
No, I mean, I like this challenge. This was really good. This is like a good one that I'm hoping they make like more of a staple, because I think this is a really fun challenge. And yeah, exactly. And I'm looking at this. You needed coordination too, and that's also true. I mean, Sebastian almost dropped it a couple times, and like you have to be paying attention to everything you're doing, because if you miss the track, I think you lose.
Yeah, and even if Jeff was saying if you like trip and fall and drop it in general, like you're gonna lose.
Yeah.
So I thought that was well done.
I thought that was a really good challenge. Dominic and Wendell win. They instantly pick Laurel, which I actually think, once again, this is like Wendell's being too cool. I felt like here. He was like, no, we already got it. We already got it. And
it's not great.
And he picked Laurel, and it's like, well, how does that make Donathan feel?
Yeah, at least pretend it was a tough decision.
Well, I mean, you can even call out the other 3 or the other 2 and just say, this is between Laurel and Donathan. We got to give it to Laurel because of blah, blah, blah. Like, so like whatever, or this is a tough decision. I mean, he made it so simple. And then they were just like, and the pirate guy or whatever they call him is going over to Ghost Island, which, I mean, it makes sense to send Sebastian. I think they trust Sebastian more than they trust Donathan. I think they can control Sebastian a lot more than they can control Donathan. So they want to get him to get whatever advantage it is instead of Donathan, which we have to talk about this advantage.
We need to talk about that because I must have missed something. He does get an extra vote?
He does get an extra vote.
So it was Michaela and then Kellen's steal a vote. And then
Michaela stole a vote, or the Michaela thing, it was a steal a vote, but Kellen's wasn't actually a stolen vote. She only got the extra vote.
And so he just got that again?
Here's what I'm thinking. And this is pure tin hat, everybody. So if you don't buy this, like, I'm sorry, but this is pure tin hat. This was supposed to be the Dan Foley vote. This was supposed to be his extra vote, because I'm pretty sure he just had a regular extra vote. And I think what ended up happening was, because Kellen played it, rather than bring Dan Foley back onto our TV screens, because clearly him and CBS do not get along in any way, shape, or form. I mean, that finale is one of the most uncomfortable finales to watch. His whole thing with Shireen on the season, CBS was definitely on Team Shireen in that. So I think that rather than actually bring Dan Foley back on our TV screens and remind the Survivor community that he was once here in those scary underwears, I think they said, we have the opportunity. Let's just use this one again.
So I like subscribe to that theory, but to me, I have 2 issues with this. One, my bigger one is this happened on this season. I know it is common knowledge that Kellen did it. It's common knowledge that she had this and played it. But what if this were a different situation where someone didn't know that Kellen played it and now the cat's out of the bag? I don't love that someone potentially could have heard that information for the first time from winning an advantage. There's something off about that. I don't really like it. And I don't know. To me, it's just like really, you're gonna recycle this again? You just use this. You're clearly just trying to stir the pot. I don't love that. That's like gonna be our second to last goes down experience. And then also they played up. So they played up Dan Foley's extra vote, which is apparently floating around on this island deep inside of a marinade. And then there's the Lauren shell, which I get them not wanting to bring up because I didn't really love the idea of them using that because they haven't seen the season. But I don't know. I was just like, really? Like, this happened 2 votes ago.
I know. So
yeah, I don't do it for me.
No, and I hear what you're saying. I don't like that there was an extra vote. I don't think that it's necessary this late in the game.
And
like,
also, you can talk about it.
Yeah, you should be weaning out advantages, not implementing advantages this late in the game. I'm okay. This should have been like what Wendell gave up to go and get. That's what like Sebastian should have gotten. Like it should be something like that this late in the game. I don't want to see advantages like extra votes. Now Sebastian has an extra vote.
But then if Wendell gets it, then everyone's gonna call him Ben.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there you go. Sebastian gets. Now watch Sebastian give it to Wendell next week. But I agree with you. Like I like to think that all of production knew that everybody on the island already knew that it was common knowledge that Kellen had used it. But it would be awful if Sebastian had no idea. But I'm pretty sure everybody on that island knew because Kellen came out the night after and said she used the extra vote.
Okay, that's a good point. Yeah, you're right on that.
Yeah.
And there's not much space to write anyone's name left.
I know, right? So like, now we're running out of space here.
Yeah,
it's gonna get you again.
But there isn't much time left. Like if Sebastian tells someone, or if he does this right, like Dom or Wendell could go home with that thing. Like that thing has a lot of power because there are not many people left.
No, there's 6 people left. But the thing is, does Sebastian want to just sit in the final 3 with them? I mean, tonight he said that it might be time for him to like overtake that, but we've heard so many people say that on this season. I mean, I still am convinced that Dom and Wendell, both of them are going to be sitting in the final 3.
Mm-hmm. And Sebastian too, I was getting nervous for him because there was a lot of chit chat during tribal council and you see like both of his eyes going like 2 separate ways while Wendell's like, well, we're going to split it 2-3. And I'm like, Sebastian's going to mess this up. Like something's going to get messed up here because there was a lot of stick to the plan business going on. Jonathan
almost voted himself out of the game by voting for Dom instead of Kellen.
So the only thing that I will like not let Jonathan slide by is when Dominic is like, can I talk to you? And he flat out says no, which is like, that's like the clapping thing. Like that is just like a what the F are you doing? And then tries to ask Dominic a question. And Dom is like, dude, you told me you weren't talking. Yeah. That was fantastic.
I thought that was hilarious. I'm a big fan of that.
That was hilarious. I was like, good on you. Like that was a perfect execution right there.
Seriously.
And speaking of tribal council, this is one thing I forgot. So yeah, Kellen got she got the Jeff Varner music in Game Changers, which is odd, which is quite odd.
Probably should have recycled that forever.
Yeah, probably should not have ever used that again. But she got the sad music. But they cut to the Jerry multiple times after she was going out, and that Jerry looked bored and angry. Did you notice that?
Well, I think that they probably are. It's just once again, Wendell and Dom, here they go. Like they're gonna go to the end again. Like I feel like that's all it was.
Yeah, and maybe they saw Kellen because Kellen is this amazing person who we didn't get to see. They saw Kellen as like the one thing standing between them.
Yeah, exactly. Because Sebastian,
Jenna looked bored, which like Jenna constantly looks bored. She's like really bored.
Yeah, no, Jenna looks considerably bored. No, I mean I totally agree with you. I think honestly this got to be a pretty boring season to be a jury on because you're just watching like everything that you expect to happen.
Mm-hmm.
There really hasn't been a blindside on this season since Bradley went home, and Bradley was blindsided, but everybody else knew they were doing it. I mean, Chris was blindsided, but the whole Survivor community knew that Chris was going home if he didn't play his idol. That's just Chris being Chris. Everything after that, I mean, you've known, like nobody's really been like floored that they went home.
Yeah, I was actually filling out the prop bet right before this, and I went past #blindside, and I was like, when was the last time we had one of those?
Was it only Gonzalez?
There was Gonzalez. Let me pull it up real quick. Here, talk to fill the dead air, quick.
Okay, so I'm going to talk to fill the dead air quick. What do you have, Alexa? What do you have?
Sorry,
I know Gonzalo's.
I had to open up Firefox. What is this all documents? Bradley didn't get it?
No.
I'm asking that conversationally.
He didn't.
Hashtag blindside. Morgan. So the first 2 episodes got a hashtag blindside.
To get everybody into the season so they could say, look, 2 blindsides.
And I mean, to be fair, those were like a great 2 episodes. And then it wasn't.
Yeah, and then Bradley and Kellen ruined everything, and then this happened. But yeah. I don't know. Like I'm just like sitting here watching this, and I'm convinced that Wendell and Dom are gonna be sitting in the final 3. I wouldn't be surprised if Laurel's sitting there with them. And hey, maybe Laurel does pull this out, but like I can't really get like a good read on like how anybody on that jury actually feels about Laurel. Like, do they like Laurel? Do they think Laurel is deserving? Or she seems to me like as soon as she gets to the final 3, everybody's going to sit there and go, "Goat, you're a goat, you're a goat." But at the same time, people might be really fed up. I mean, Kellen really seemed annoyed that Dom and Wendell keep winning everything. Like maybe she just gets to the point where she's like, "I'm not going to give you $1 million on top of all of that."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. And again, we'll talk about this ad nauseum on Sunday or whenever we do our predictions. But this fire making challenge, I'm gonna put it out there, could add a little bit of fun. Because let's say Dom or Wendell wins that immunity. Do they give the second immunity to the other one?
I know. That's what's crazy.
You know?
I mean, who's it gonna come down? Who's gonna be sitting there doing fire? I mean, is it gonna be like Laurel and
Angela
or Laurel? Honestly, I think it would probably end up being Laurel and Donathan. Because I feel like Donathan has gotten a big 4th place edit. He just feels like it just feels like Donathan's like 4th place, like bigger character. That's a good point for the not like place. A huge character, but bigger. Some like fans might think he has a chance to win, but if you watch tonight, like you really know he doesn't have a chance to win the game. But some people might be saying he does, so he gets 4th place, loses the fire making challenge to Laurel, and maybe Laurel like proves herself there, and people say, you know what, I'd vote for Laurel to win.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's what the fire making. That's like one of the few positives of the fire making challenge. It does give the person who wins it like this one final boost. Because even if like someone like Chrissy won that individual immunity fair and square, but actually there's a lot of drama with that. I forgot about that.
Yeah, was it fair and square, Alexa?
Yeah, so maybe pretty much Chrissy wins individual immunity and no one sees it happen, but Ben wins the fire making challenge and it's this big explosive thing. So it's a very different experience for the jury.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. That's a big deal. So I mean, Devin wanted to do it, and that could easily be a situation that happens here where Laurel wins that, and it's like, oh my God, she won. Maybe she has to beat Sebastian to get into the final 3 or something like that, or maybe she has to beat Dom or Wendell, which I don't see happening. I think both of them are there, but maybe something like that happens. I mean, the only thing we know for sure is Dom and Wendell are making it to the final 5 because they both have idols.
They're both making it to the final 4 because you can play an idol of final 5.
You can still play the idols at final 5.
Yeah, because that was the whole complaint regarding the fire making challenge, that there's never, this was what Dr. Mike said, there's never a pure vote anymore. There's no open forum vote anymore.
That's brutal because they're in the final 3 because they're not going to go at 6. People aren't going to be able to turn it on them. And then at final 5, they're both just going to play their idols to be safe. And then at least one of them is making it to final 4. Like, they're not going to be able to get 4 on 2 because Sebastian would actually be the one to stop that and just be like, well, I want to go to the final 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That I remember there were a lot of, obviously.
That sucks. So
a lot of criticisms. And that was Dr. Mike's idea. He was like, we need one clean vote, no idols, no whatever, this fire making thing, because this exact situation can happen.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah. So that's it.
Well, that's like the whole episode. I mean, just to give Kellen was the final person on my team, my fantasy team.
Oh, rip.
I got hit by the Kellen train, and
the Kellen train
unfortunately killed me.
Come to a stop.
I will say though, with this fake Kellen thing, I did Bradley's video with him, and like I know like there's like Kellen's voting on this, and there's like a lot of cute ones out there. There's like little kids, and like Brendan's was really funny, but like I want to win, so like come on, ours was the best one. Like come on, Kellen.
Vote people. Actually, no, we can't vote.
It's just Kellen, but I'm making my plea to Kellen here. It's like
Kellen,
come on, like,
please listen. Please.
I had to hang out with Bradley for an extended period of time. We did
that's
that video.
Unfortunate.
It was rough.
Yeah, but you clapped
like,
at him, so it's only fair.
I got the clap at him. I mean, come on. And we put a Baylor Wilson song into our damn video.
And the Baylor, I heard that Baylor Wilson, or I heard the Chris song, and I was like, wait a second. And the Baylor one was freaking hilarious.
Yeah, so I just want to throw that out there. I know there's a lot of cute like little kid ones and everything, which probably should win. But Kellen, come on.
But this is a pride thing.
Navidi strong. Let's not be ridiculous.
Kellen, you're so one-sided. Just for Navidi strong.
Yeah, that's all you have. Clearly,
that's all there is to you.
Ay. Do you want to do
so
some
much
comments?
Sarcasm? Yes, let's do some comments. That'd be wonderful.
We have Joe Manna. The fact I'm still in is pretty sad. He's in it longer than I am, but I don't think he can beat me unless Angela wins. Thank goodness.
I mean, I'm just saying, she's got a good story.
Does she? Does she? Does she, Alexa? Wow.
Where should I start?
We could do Connor Barry. Okay, what do you think of reusing an advantage that has already been won? I'm not sure I'm a fan. I mean, we were pretty, I
don't love it. I would like to hear. I feel like, does Dalton Ross do that interview with Jeff every week?
He does.
Because I feel like there are a lot of Jeff questions coming up.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good one that Dalton Ross should ask.
Dalton Ross is definitely going to ask about the immunity challenge. I hope he asks about this advantage.
Yeah. I hope so too. Maybe he will. Let's see if it can happen.
Joe Haas, if people think Donathan is quitting, that's bogus. He's just stirring up trouble. Yeah, people are saying it's a quitter's mentality. It's not at all. He said out loud, I need to stir the pot. He's just saying whatever. And his like crazy truth bombs, to be fair, have been like slightly working.
Yeah, no, they absolutely have. Oh wait, here we go, Alexa. It's actually already been asked, so I have it. Well, here's something new. Sebastian goes to Ghost Island and gets an advantage, and in yet another Survivor twist, it's one that's already been used this season. Sarah steal a vote that Kellen uses an extra vote. Tell me about the decision to use items more than once, and were the two unpicked items and the other bamboo also items that have been used on the season?
Wait,
Jeff
where did that question come from?
I'm reading Dalton Ross's thing.
Oh my God, I was like, one can tweet that much.
No, and then Jeff said, "Oh no, stop talking, Angela. Oh my God, I hate the EW site. It's frustrating.
Oh, the EW site's horrifying.
It's terrifying. There's way too much going on. But so what ends up happening? Jeff says we knew from the second Michael misplayed James's idol early in the season that we should bring a Ghost Island relic back into the game. It didn't end up happening with James's idol because we had so many other idols we wanted to feature. But the vote, that one was perfect because it was the only one of its kind. I think one of the other items might have been a returning item, but as I sit here and write this, I honestly cannot remember. But I will add that I love this new element of Survivor. Risk your vote for an advantage. This is now a new twist that we will use again, just like other advantages and twists. It poses a really great dilemma. And because I don't always need to read every vote, you've got a shot to get away with it. That's risk some will find worth taking.
I mean, that I like. Risk a vote for an advantage.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it seems like they made it up as they went, and honestly, I didn't like it.
Yeah. I mean, if they made it up as they went, like, whatever.
Yeah, and then he actually does ask the Wendell thing too.
What did he say?
Nothing like this has ever happened before. It was bizarre. I think Wendell was half checking his puzzle and half dazed. Truthfully, I didn't know he had it because there was no sign from him at all. It was only seeing it back in editing later that I could clearly see he had finished it before Laurel. But we are deep into the game and cognitive function is in rare supply. And I honestly think Wendell just had a slight lapse. What impressed me most was how both Wendell and Laurel handled it. Laurel obviously took the necklace, but she was not aware it was a tricky situation. But she was aware it was a tricky situation. Wendell just handled it straight up. He didn't complain at all. He was frustrated, but he owned it as his mistake.
They both handled that far too maturely.
Yeah.
Like they were both very, very, very
God,
mature.
I wish this is where we need Russell Hantz back on the show just to have that moment.
Just
of him losing when he wins. Yes, exactly. Just so he can lose his mind. All right, read another question because now I'm parched.
Do you think if you give a fake idol to Jeff before the votes are read, do you think he'll say anything or will he destroy it? That's a good one. I don't know what triggered it, but that's a really good question.
Where is this question?
It's from JP. It's right under Joe saying the fact that I'm still in it is pretty sad with all the crying emojis.
Do you think if you give Jeff a fake idol before the votes are read? No, well, before the votes are read, that's when you give Jeff the fake idol.
I think he means maybe before the votes are written down.
Oh, before they're cast?
Like
I think once you give it to Jeff, he has to say whether it's an idol or not.
I'm liking all these situations where people just make Jeff extremely uncomfortable and unsure of his own rules.
Yes.
So I want someone to do this.
Now let's all go back and watch Dawson kiss him.
Oh my God, I forgot about that. That really needs to go down in like Survivor Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or when Natalie Bolton asked Parvati that final tribal council question. I actually have a screenshot of both Parvati and Jeff's faces that I use for reactions, and both of their faces are they're a work of art.
Love it.
It's so
That's a great final tribal question.
it's wild.
All right, we have Andy Vogel. We always hear probes preaching life experience is prerequisite for survivor success. Part of why most recent winners have been over 30. I think they've been close to 30. I think they've been over. Do you think Donathan's lack of experience with diverse populations ultimately led to his horrible misread tonight? No, I think he was just super paranoid. And I don't think he was that wrong in his paranoia.
Yeah, I wouldn't say his misread was horrible because, to be fair, they did end up voting for him. Like they threw votes on him. So I think like you said, I think it was a mixture of unnecessary but also necessary paranoia, because he definitely is the number 4, but that he wasn't the plan to go home tonight. And as Jeff said, cognitive functions are not at their highest right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to make a move.
Yeah, no, you're right. And I think, he's realizing that he's sliding into 4th place. He doesn't want to get 4th place.
Yeah. Sorry, that was my fault. JP, so do you think Dom will find a use for Dave's fake idol? We didn't really talk about that much last episode, but I think that's dumb. Nobody wants, if I'm finding an advantage and I find a fake idol, like a fake idol that is supposed to be an advantage, I would be pissed.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Joe Haas, I like how possibly 4 of the 6, Laurel, Dom, Wendell, and Sebastian with the right people can win. Kudos to Survivor editors. But Sebastian can't win.
Sebastian with the right people?
He would have to sit next to Angela and Donathan, but I think even at that point, they'd probably vote for Donathan.
Yeah.
Sebastian isn't doing anything, and they all know it.
Yeah. They were like, we'll send you to Ghost Island because you won't do anything.
Yeah.
Gamer Girl, do you think Sebastian should have used his extra vote at this tribal, or do you think he was right to save it? I think he was right to save it. I just hope he does it correctly.
Yeah, there was no reason for him to use it. I mean, he was never in danger.
Yeah.
Gamer Girl, if you guys were to make your top 20 worst players to make the finale list, would Seabass or Angela be on it? I forgot Will and I made this list. I forget who was on my list. I really do forget who was on my list, but I don't know if they would crack it. There's been some really bad players to make the finale.
This is interesting. It's finale specifically.
Yeah, just the finale, not final 3, finale. Because I went on record, and I will still say the worst Survivor player to ever make the finale is Matt Elrod. He got voted out, second, made it all the way back into the game, got voted out the first chance he could get voted out again, and then lost right before he get back into the game. He's the worst. He played challenges. He's the worst Survivor player to ever make the finale.
Yeah, he's pretty bad. And then he had a pretty bad music career afterwards. Or was he an actor? He's something like that.
I don't
know. But to me, they're meant players. They're not bad players.
Yeah.
Like
Zane
Knight is a bad player. Angela is just there. To me,
Zane Knight is fun.
He's very fun. You can be a bad player is fun.
Yes.
I would like to rewatch that though.
He's fantastic. You're up.
Jimmy, is there a better chance of Seabass incorrectly using his advantage or playing the vote steal in favor of Wen and Dom? He's probably going to play it in favor of them. Yeah.
I feel like that's what's going to end up happening. Although this does make an interesting possible 3-3 split next week if Sebastian is on the wrong side.
True.
Let's see here. So we have Chris. Is it possible that not only were Dom and Wendell concerned about Kellen a voter out, but that they along with the jury and remaining players see Donathan as a GOAT and won't receive votes? That is if they're planning to cut Laurel. I think that's exactly it. I don't think they think that Donathan gets any votes in the final. So keep him around. Maybe he wins the fire-making challenge over Laurel, and then you're sitting in the final 3 with Donathan.
Yeah, I think that's probably the thought process, Tim.
Yeah.
Caitlin Dillon, it's like none of these people want to win the game. No big moves. Nothing. Congrats, Dom and Wendell. Whoever wins deserves it. Yeah, except for Donathan.
He
shot his shot.
Donathan's trying.
He missed 100% of the shots he don't take.
He's missing 100% of the ones he is taking. Let's see. We have Captain Quint. Totally disagree with your take on Donathan. He tries making the move when the numbers aren't in his favor, and he just had a chance last tribal to get Wendell. Also, he's paranoid and had a quitting mentality. He's not quitting. I don't know where this quitting mentality.
I think this was the tweet that I saw because I was like, he doesn't have a quitting mentality.
He doesn't have any quitting mentality.
No.
I never once thought like he's going to quit. Like, no way.
Chris, this kind of thing has happened on Don't Get Angry, Big Brother, and they had to go to an instant replay to determine the winner of a competition. Whoa. Instant replay. Yeah. I hope they like slow-moed it.
They probably did. It's Big Brother.
Yeah, make it dramatic. Make it even more dramatic than it needs to be. I've not even seen a minute of Big Brother, so I don't know what to say about it. And I'll probably keep it that way. I know a lot of people want us to watch it. But what I do love about Big Brother is everyone, like a lot of Survivor fans, it's like, we criticize the show because we love it. We criticize things that we love. But I feel like Big Brother fans hate Big Brother. Like, really, really hate it. Yeah. It's fascinating.
I can't believe that it's still on TV and that they watch it. Dylan honestly thought Donathan was going to get voted off tonight. Glad to see that he wasn't and will be in the finale. My list of who I think can win from least to most likely is Sebastian at 6, Angela at 5, Laurel 4, Donathan 3, Wendell and Dominic are 2 and 1. Man, I think Angela is 6, Donathan is probably 5, Sebastian is 4, Laurel is 3. Sebastian and Donathan, though.
Wait, you haven't. Where's Angela then?
She's last. No, she's 6 easily.
Oh, you said Angela at 6.
Yeah. Okay. She's easily 6th.
Cloud Noctis. Hi guys. Is there any way Cloud Noctis, you are always so positive. Thank you for being who you are. I feel like you need to be called out for that because you're wonderful. Hi guys. Is there any way Dominic or Wendell go out before the final 4? Cheers. Unless they are fabulously blindsided, I do not see that happening.
Well, I mean, because at final, all one of them has to do is win the immunity of final 6, and if they hear that the other one's going to get voted, play the idol. And then at final 5, you're probably going to have the numbers, play an idol, and then you're at final 4.
Yeah. I don't think the chances are very good.
I don't think the chances are good at all.
Yeah.
And that's really it.
That's it. That's all we got. There we go.
Dang.
Dang. Well, this season is wrapped up. We have one week left of this season. And then we are on to the long and hot summer off season.
Which, that'll be fun because something. I don't know. I'm looking at when Kellen posted her picture of her leaving like the Ponderosa tent. I'm gonna watch the Ponderosa. Still haven't watched Chelsea's. Should probably do that.
Yeah, I didn't watch that one either. I'll probably watch them both tomorrow.
There you go. Do you want to wrap us up and then? Yeah, go ahead and just wrap us up.
I will wrap us up. So we will be live sometime this weekend at an undisclosed time for our finale predictions. Not so much power rankings. What we do is we usually kind of come up with every single final 3 scenario. Maybe there's a final 2. That would be fun. But I actually don't think that'll happen. Yeah, I tried to just set myself up there. We kind of just break down every situation, who's going to vote for who. So this one's a pretty fun predictions episode. It's probably, I was about to say we're usually never right on it, and that probably will remain the same.
Whoa. Michelle Fitzgerald called right here. I picked everybody right who would vote for her.
Oh, did you? Oh, yeah, that's cool. That's actually really cool.
One of the only people.
Wow. Is that on your resume?
It is, actually. It is. I'll tell you what, I tell everybody that. I told my boss that today, and she just looked at me like I had 2 heads.
This podcast is on my resume. Yeah, I can't believe we're talking about this.
Mine too.
So anyways, we'll be live at some point this weekend with our predictions for the Survivor Ghost Island finale. In the meantime, please make sure to at us on Twitter. Please add us. Like us on Facebook. Check out our website. Hit that subscribe button. We are at like 3,450. We've had so much growth this season, which has been really, really cool. We hope you guys have been enjoying listening to us complain. We'll try not to do that as much. We have some really cool stuff planned for you guys in the off season. But in the meantime, stay tuned, and we'll be live at some point this weekend with our finale predictions.
And if you made it this far, go retweet Michelle's thing so that she knows how much we like her.
Yes, retweet her, and please add us.
Everybody.
Add us everywhere. Add us like 50 times.
Yes. Retweet. She's Let her know that we are here.
Definitely not going to be creeped out if she ever listens to this podcast.
No.
Or if she digs into the depths back when it was you and Will talking about Michelle.
No, not Michelle Truthers. There's nothing creepy about a Michelle Truther.
Well, she was actually on once.
She was. That's right. She did say hi.
Yeah,
That's
and
probably
I still have that screenshot of you just being like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
It's great. Okay, it's 1:05 a.m. and I'm going to bed.
Go
Good
to bed.
night.
It's 1:06.